Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. My good friend Ambujam Rose is back with us again, and we're so excited. The energy's been building all day. And that's why I'm like so cold. So part of that for me is like I get cold. It's like the energy's building and so much is going on. And we're going to be talking about radical responsibility and 2020 energies. And so we've been talking about the 2020 energies for a while. It's been building and building, and we keep saying, yeah, it's coming, it's coming. It's going to be such an exciting time, fantastic time. And now for me, since the last week I've been talking about it, it's like, yeah, we're starting now. There's no more waiting. The time is here, and it's here now. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what is radical responsibility. With Ambujam, we're going to be doing a group process that we're going to come into our own radical responsibility. And Ambujam is going to be taking some personal questions, doing some mini readings, and we always have so much fun. And of course, for those of you who may not know Ambujam, she is a way shower, a self-embodiment accelerator. She helps you understand and navigate your awakening quickly, heal the old ego self, and learn how to live from truth. And so you'll see as we start to talk and as she starts to take the questions from everybody how she works, and it's amazing. Everybody loves Ambujam, and so we're so excited because nobody wants to talk to me. It's like, it's all good. It's like, Ambujam is here, let's talk to her, let's bring her on, let's get going. So Ambujam, welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, since I got up, I don't know, 9 this morning, and ever since then it's just the energy is so strong, and it's just been building and building and building and building and building. And I'm going to talk about some maybe uncomfortable subjects around energy that doesn't want this to happen.
Okay.
And how you really own yourself, which is this whole radical responsibility, because it's time. So I'm going to talk about all kinds of stuff, and I don't know the exacts at all. Of course, you guys will bring it through. Spirit will bring it through. Everybody will bring it through.
We just go with the flow.
Yeah, and the group process. So Spirit's going to create whatever that is with you guys. And for those of you listening to the replay too, because it's all now, So Spirit's going to connect, as Laura and I will be talking, whatever we're going to talk about. Spirit's going to be connecting everybody, and they're going to bring our specific process today to help you really own who you are, because that's the deal now. Mm-hmm. No more waiting, it's like no more fence. You're either in or you're out. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. You're either pregnant or you're not. You can't kind of be pregnant. So you either are or you're not. And when I talk about that, I'm not talking about you having to be perfect and get it right. And that's all an idea and a concept. We're talking about a really foundational choice to really own who you are. And that is a huge practice, as you know, right? You don't just choose and you're like, oh, I'm done. I'm 100% embodied now, all done. Maybe that happens to maybe 0.2% of us on this planet. Most of us, the rest of us, it's this huge process. Yeah. But there has to be a foundational choice now, because the energies starting, for me, it started like Sunday night into this past Monday, where all of a sudden I felt like all of these energies of 2020 are starting to happen. And if you are not rooted in yourself, in your choice, and you do not have a practice for that, you will be blown around by all these energies, because they are so strong, and they're only going to get more and more and more and more and more. And what are these strong energies? I just want to say, I'm going to simplify it for now, because I want to ask Laura how we want to start, what she wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. But what's going to happen starting now, but in 2020, there is such an immense amount of light coming to this planet that it is going to bring everything into this high light. So everything that's not truth will, of course, get highlighted. And we've been saying this for years now, right? Whatever's not true is going to go. You better deal with your shit. You better all of that, right? But what happens every single year, it just keeps upping the ante over and over and over and over. And it doesn't stop or go away. And it doesn't wait for us to be comfortable. It is what it is. It's like a fierce truth, a fierce love. And so you must have a practice to know your own energy, tune into yourself, know how to root in yourself. Again, we're not talking about being emotionally this perfect person. It's a foundational choice of practicing owning your own energy. All your feelings are yours. All your choices are yours. Like it is, that's why I'm calling it radical responsibility, because it's not about being nice, right? It's core now. Like we must really do this because the energies are going to force this anyway. And anywhere we're out of alignment, anywhere we're hiding from ourselves, anywhere we're avoiding, all of that's going to come out. And it's going to happen for everybody. It's not like a select few, whether you're on the path or not on the path. We're all on the path. Okay. And the other thing I just want to bring up too is we are all super scared to be who we are at our core. Okay. It's normal, because how I see it is when life is asking you to be who you really are and do what you're really here to do, it will trigger your corest, deepest issue and fear and trauma to free you at your core so you can be you. So every single one of us, as we're being asked to be who we are, each one of us is dealing with our deepest, corest fears and traumas and upsets and pain that stretches all the way back to incarnation number 1. So we're all scared. Some days we don't feel scared consciously, right? Because where all this stuff is, it's very deep in our systems. It's very unconscious. We just might know, like, you know, we might feel resistance, or we might feel all kinds of things. But what's foundationally going on is we are being brought up against our deepest pain to be free, not to just heal, but to be free. Okay. Freedom is a whole other deal, because it is like breaking us through everything for our truth to come out. And so in 2020, this is going to be amped like a gazillion fold. And for me this week, when it started, it's like, it's been this, I'll just call it like this threshold that we're all moving through. This threshold has been building for years, but boom, it's now. Like it is opened. And so it's not like this slow build. There's a lot of, I'll simply call it timing, divine intelligence, where all these souls are at in humanity and elsewhere. There's a lot of reasons why this threshold is open now, and why it's not tomorrow, and why it's not next week. Why is it now? It is complicated, you guys, but you're ready. Everyone's ready. It's just the deepest yes that has to be. And okay, that's what I wanted to say for now. So
awesome.
What do you want to share?
Well, I wanted to start with, you know, tomorrow is the 1010. There's a huge 1010 portal that's opening up tomorrow, right? And even like, you know, even around this whole time right now, it's a high energy, high vibe time. Spiritually, religiously, we'll call it, you know, as well. And so there have been a lot of energies, a lot of focus. You know, for me, it's about focusing on me. What do I require? You know, what do I require to show up more authentically as me, right? And so, which I've been doing, you know, but it's like, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what people are going to say, because people are going to think and say stuff anyways.
Constantly, yeah.
Who cares? We have no control over that. So how do I want to be? How do I want to express myself? What do I want to share? And it's not even about what do I want to share, but it's like, how do I want to live my life? You know, I'm at that point now. Totally. It's like, okay, what is like, what lights me up? You know, what brings me joy? I say all this stuff all the time, but it is the now. It's like, okay, let's show up as us. Who cares? Pretend there's nobody else there. there's no people anywhere. Just you show up. You know, how do you show up, right? Mm-hmm. And so that energy is coming up a lot, you know, and that energy of just being us, you know, even with our beautiful blue nail polish, which I just absolutely love, you know, and just doing it, you know. So this is now about the time to just do it. Whatever it is that you've been waiting for, just do it. This is the time. Who cares what people think? Who cares if you make a mistake? Who cares if you fall, you know, flat on your face? We're going to fall flat. I've fallen flat on my face many times.
1,000 times a day.
right?
Yep.
It's going to keep happening. So that's not going to stop. But your, it's your courage within you. It's your, that radical responsibility is like really taking full responsibility of who you are and saying, yes, I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm here to play the game. Full out, full on, full out.
On. Yep.
Let's do it. And
all chips are in.
Yeah, and you're going to talk about this, but when we do this, when we declare to ourselves, it's mostly to ourselves, the yes, I'm here to play. We do get a little bit affected by other outside energies that say, really? Or do you really want to play? Are you sure? How strong are you in your integrity, your choice, right?
Yep.
So
you want to talk about that a little bit now?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I know that, I sometimes try and ignore that part, but I know it's there, and I have been taken out. I'll say it just like that. I've been taken out many times, and it's like, no more, enough. It's like, no, I'm not backing down anymore. I'm not letting those energies take me out anymore, because it's a disservice.
That's right.
It's a disservice to me. It's a disservice to what I came to do and be. It's a disservice to humanity, and it's a disservice, I'm going to say, to my relationship with spirit. It's a disservice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was a lot.
We're actually listening to you right now.
I know. I'm getting
the negative energy.
Goosebumps and everywhere. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm just feeling into what side of this I want to talk about first, around the darkness. Okay. And the dark dudes, because there are dark dudes. Shit's real. It just is. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm just asking spirit, do I want to talk about, let's say here's the darkness. Okay. Do I want to talk about this side of it, or do I want to talk about this side of it first? They're kind of funny. They're like, you choose. And I'm like, okay. Because I feel like I'll do both. So foundationally, the darkness is here to empower and awaken you. Doesn't feel that way, doesn't look that way. Okay. So let's say there's a spectrum of dark energy, and we're going to talk about this side, and I'm going to talk about all of that. All right. When you look at dark energy foundationally, I see two things. I see a lot of pain, avoided pain, deep pain. And this pain makes this energy want to hurt others or manipulate so it can get power, because it feels powerless. Okay. So there's two cores of the dark energy that I see. There's a deep amount of pain that this energy is in. And the other side of it is it comes from light. The root of it is actually light. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to just kind of bounce over the spectrum here. I'm going to talk about our past. So when people start to say yes to themselves and they start to turn on, and the dark starts coming in, okay? Personally, each person has their own karmic history with their own darkness within and beings. I see a lot of agreements with darker beings because foundationally it's coming from, I don't feel enough, so I'm going to engage all of you. I'm going to hire all of you to do my work for me or do something for me because I don't feel like I'm enough. Okay, that's a lot of it, lack, our own sense of lack. We have allowed ourselves to be manipulated. We've given our power away. We've slutted ourselves out, seriously, for power. Mm-hmm. And that's what's interesting about the darkness. So what the darkness is feeling, it doesn't have its own sense of power. And what we feel when we're in lack is we don't have our power. And so we're both trying to extract from each other. And extraction never works, right? We all learn this the hard way. Luckily, if we learn it at all, mm-hmm. because without checking your motivation, okay, why am I even reaching out to person A, or why do I maybe want to be in business with person C? What's my foundational motivation? If my foundational motivation is to extract and get something from it, that is not going to turn out well. If it's just true in my heart and feels really right, regardless of emotions, attachments, whatever, there's just this, yes, this feels foundationally true for me. Well, that's a very different motivation than I need something from you. So if I come after, I'm going to need something from you, no matter how small that is. Again, everything is coming into the light. So you got to chickadee check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. Okay, it's from the 80s from you guys. I think it's Snoop Dogg. So you got to check your motivations. Okay, before you actually, ideally before you act on anything, what is your motivation? Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, we've had past relationships with these dark energies, and these dark energies, when we turn on again, they're just acting out of our old agreements of what we've asked them to do. Okay. And this happens with relationships with people. We change, the person still is trying to have us do the same thing. Well, why? They didn't get the memo. They think, well, you said that I could manipulate you in the last lifetime. I'm just going to do it again. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of reconciliation that's going on, right? So I'm going to say there's three things. You may have your own soul history with dark beings, dark energy that you have engaged with from lack and from I'm not enough and from fear. Okay. So you just want to ask yourself when you're feeling, something really intense going on, you're feeling heavy, you're feeling weird, you're feeling funky, make it be part of your practice to when you have time to really ask yourself, do I have old agreements with these beings? Do I have old agreements with darkness? Do I have old agreements? And how do I complete those? And this is where you're really going to have to trust your guidance and your own information. Okay. The other thing, the other part of the spectrum is it is just moth to a flame. It's not personal. This is another piece of it. It's not personal. It doesn't, because it's in foundational pain, it doesn't want awakening to happen, because if awakening happens, it's going to have to deal with itself, right? So it's Spirit's giving me this metaphor. It's like an alcoholic in the family. We all want the alcoholic to change. But then when they start changing, what starts coming up is our enabling, and we were so used to being codependent in this way. And we have to start dealing with this underlying things that's been underneath the relationship the whole time, that the alcoholism and the drama has been covering, right? So we start to go, oh no, so-and-so is changing. And you can, and I know that we can all use that metaphor for, maybe it's not an alcoholic person in your family or your relationship, your lover, your spouse, but it's at a point where somebody has changed, something has changed in our life, and our stuff starts coming up. So if we are to awaken as a species, the darkness will not be needed. I don't know what will happen to it. Does it kind of slowly complete its existence? Who knows? Okay, that's not important. What's important is empower yourself when you feel this energy. So the other thing I just want to say about, well, how do you empower yourself? Where you put your focus now really matters. So imagine your focus like a flashlight. So wherever you shine your flashlight, that's what you're going to see. Okay. So when you start to feel all, something coming in or some funky stuff going on, bring your flashlight, bring your awareness back to your heart energy and just focus there. And it takes a minute, right? Depending on what's going on, what's being triggered, what's happening with you. Sometimes, boom, you're just there. You put your awareness in, you're like, I feel so much better. Oh, I feel clearer again. Keep your focus in your truth, in your true energy. You may just focus on your breath. You may focus on your aliveness inside. You may focus on your beingness inside. Whatever it is for you. For me, I go directly into my heart of hearts, because that's where I feel my truth. The loudest is in there. And so I literally just stop as fast as I catch feeling weird. And I bring my awareness back in my heart, and I actually ask, okay, what is going on? Okay, so that's just a little tool, right? The third thing about this darkness stuff and how it gets in is it gets into your unresolved emotions and your unhealed wounding, unhealed stuff. Okay. What it does, I can already feel it's getting mad at me. What it does, so let's say I have a fear of I'm not enough. Okay. What the darkness will do is it's brilliant. Okay. It goes into that fear of not enough and it just expands upon it. So I don't even notice anything's different. I just think it's me. I just don't feel enough today, even worse. Okay. The other part of this whole practice, and I know I'm like talking really fast and saying a lot, there's just a lot to say, is don't forget to ask when you're feeling a physical pain, an emotion, anything. Don't forget to first ask, is this feeling that I'm feeling 100% mine, yes or no? Trust your truth. And then you ask, what percentage is actually mine? And you'll get a number or you'll get a feeling. Bring your flashlight, your focus to that feeling. Stay there. The rest goes. And if it doesn't go, it's because it's sticking to what is yours. Mm-hmm. It can only stick. Darkness can only bother you and stick to your own unhealed stuff or past agreements. Okay, seriously. I've never seen anybody have something in their space. It's just kind of hanging there because nope, it is always sticking to something in them that is not resolved or in pain or avoided or denied. So when you're feeling something funky, go within yourself and ask the question, how did this even get in the first place, I wonder? Where in me is this sticking to, I wonder? And try your best to actually become curious of what the answer actually is. And let your intuition, either pull you somewhere, or a feeling might come up, or an image might come up, or a word. Trust that and go with that. So foundationally, everything I'm saying is to foundationally, when the darkness is around you, it's to actually empower you. You can actually use it to go into where you are unconscious and become conscious. Okay. So for me, when something's weird and I go in and I go, okay, how is this even sticking? I'm always brought up to something. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know that was there. Because why would I let a dark energy come in and like eat my eyeball out? Okay, I wouldn't want to do that. It's only able to do that because I'm unconscious there, So foundationally, you guys, use all of what I'm saying to empower yourself. Underneath, because the darkness is pain, if we go to a certain reality of it, because foundationally there's dark and light and a very large reason, okay? Why? The why isn't very important right now, on a really foundational reason of dark and light. Okay. But it will be here until Source says so. Let's just say that. It'll be here until creation is complete with that. Okay. We don't know when that is. Could be 2 seconds from now, right? Or it could be a year from now. But how you be with it is what matters the most, right? So it has pain, you have pain. Its pain is sticking to your pain. And it's just trying to get energy where it feels no energy. And same for you. When you feel lack, you're trying to feel better too. So compassion can come into play as well. And Spirit's saying, don't forget to ask yourself, where are my past agreements here, if any? Because on a certain level, when you do healing on yourself in this, I'll call it this radical responsibility, and you're taking responsibility for everything, okay? Our human self is here, let's say, we stretch, our consciousness stretches all the way back to first incarnation and beyond of who and what we really are, okay? We've had thousands of experiences here. So to change this, sometimes we have to investigate this, okay? So agreements are like here, and they're still valid. They're still, so when you humanly can actually deal with this part of you here, when you really ask, are there any agreements I need to complete? You're actually asking your larger self, this whole you, right? So sometimes there are agreements that need to be completed in order for the human to move on, in order for all of you to move on. And Spirit's saying, don't forget, your human you is an aspect of all of you. So when your human you heals, all of you heals. When your past life self heals, your human heals. It is one big, huge you, okay? The last thing for now I want to say about the darkness is, I don't know, something though. So Spirit just shows me this image of kind of like you're the parent, it's the child. And sometimes the parent needs to be stern, sometimes the parent needs to be soft. What is it that you need in each moment? Because each moment is different than the last. Doesn't feel like it because we're in here, right? Blah, 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 right? Everything feels the same from here, right? But when you actually tune in and take a look around, well, is it? So Spirit's saying you're the parent, the darkness is the child. What does it foundationally need? Self-realization. What do you foundationally need? Self-realization, right? This stuff sticks to our ego. It doesn't stick to our true self at all. It just doesn't do that. So they're saying foundationally, if we look at the larger picture from an eagle's point of view, eagle eye, it's foundationally all about realization, self-realization. And when you realize who and what you really are, there's a returning that happens. And at some point, the dark energy, the negative energy, it will shift, but we don't know, right? We don't know when, but all you can do is work with you and yourself. So the other part for me about radical responsibility is that you have to know, you know the truth for you. 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 So every single session I've ever done for the last 20 plus years, I never say anything somebody doesn't know. They're just not conscious of it. And so when I say something from what their being is showing me, they already know it. Okay. The responsibility part comes in now is you actually have to go to your knowing and work it and trust yourself. We have been for years and lifetimes giving our power away to someone outside of us to know for us or to give us approval or permission. And we all know that this is a long road to end all that, right? Because we're all ending it and it's taking quite a long time. And until it doesn't. And it could just be like this 2020 shift. All of a sudden, boom, it is time, right? So it's like a scale like this, and you never know what's going to do this. So this whole giving our power away as we all are working it and working it and working it and working it, we don't know where the big scale is, right? It could be any little feather that just does this. But you guys, it is core and essential and crucial that you have to know you know. You have to know you know. And when you work with a healer, you have to know you know. And you have to come to the session from this place. I'm telling you, you've got to empower yourself. And I know that we're scared. That's why we reach out. We feel blocked. We have tried everything and nothing's working. Like there's 1,000 reasons why we reach out. But when you work with somebody, I highly recommend that you come to that person empowered, even though you don't feel well and even though you're scared, you have to know you know. And when you show up in that way, the collaboration is able to work in a very different way versus you have it, I don't. This whole hierarchy thing has got to freaking go. It's not true. Okay. So that's a piece of this as well, is how do you even work with a healer? How do you work with somebody and why would you want to? You know, for me, my work is all about helping you help yourself, release all these egoic layers, using my gifts to see these past life correlated lifetimes that are affecting you today to help you release that so you can empower yourself and you can come in. And all the group power healings I do are all about release, 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 release to get you in, okay? That is what all of my work is about, is to empower you. That's why I'm here today saying you have it. Yes, I have gifts that can see certain things and to release things super freaking fast. But when you know you have it and we work together from that place, holy shit, it's so powerful, right? So my husband and I have been talking for years now, like we should write a book about how to work with a healer, to actually go through this whole, it's like a checklist of, okay, where am I at? What's my motivation? Does it feel even true to work with this person in my heart? Is it even true to reach out in this moment, or do I need to wait? And when you can really show up, when you're really when it's really right for you. It really matters. And why I keep bringing this up right now is because it is going to matter even more as we step into these higher energies. And I'm just fierce about this. Like, if you can't tell, right? I'm just like, and I can't help it. It's just, it's so strong. And I'm such an advocate for your truth, for you to know who you are. And I'm not saying you have to know 24 hours a day and you have to get it right. Again, that's all bullshit. It's all concept. I'm talking about to resonate in the truth of, yes, I do know. I do. Even though I might not be conscious of my knowing 24 hours a day, I have to own my power, own my energy to be like, I do know. Mm-hmm. And this person may just help bring that out of me, but I'm not coming to a session or to a gathering or to anything other than I know too, you know. And Spirit's just like bringing this home right now. And I know I'm going to talk more about this as these months go on, about how to really show up, mm-hmm. you know, for yourself. It's just so important. The other thing I want to talk about, this 2020 thing that started happening this week, how I see it is the earth. Let's say here's the earth. All these portals are opening now. Like, there are a lot of them, and they're opening up to our larger galactic family and the larger energies that are, we'll just say, you know, multi-dimensional, mm-hmm. The multiverse. The earth, for whatever reason, before 2012 was kind of like the little redheaded stepchild. It was in the corner all alone. It was a little exiled. Okay. It's not. Since 2012, it came into play with everybody. And that's why the earth is such a huge, significant thing of what humanity is going to do, because we are connected to our galactic family. And so all of these higher vibrations, galactically speaking, universally speaking, the earth is super significant because, like I said, if here's our human self and here's our, you know, past selves, we're all just one big self. Well, the earth is a part of the entire universe. Mm-hmm. So when the earth awakens and the earth heals and blah, 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 like everyone's like, I wonder what's going to happen, because it's not written. We are literally every single day, it's each person's responsibility to choose for themselves. And we are literally creating this movement. It is not written. And I can't tell you how many sessions I've done where I've worked with people who, you know, have that soul history of they've had lifetimes like this before, or where they've been in pinnacle points. Atlantis, Lumeria, one of them. I just feel like to say that for you guys who've had those experiences. It's bringing up a lot in your systems, a lot of cellular memory of being at a time like this before. And that plus people who've had soul history of feeling like they need to save people. And I can't tell you how many times God is like, I can't do a thing. It's all up to you guys. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if I were to intervene, you would never be consciously making a choice. You wouldn't even know how you got there. What help is that? You know? So just as a flower, you know, starts as a seed and then there's a stem, and then there's the leaves, and then the bud, and then it blooms. It had a whole process to be able to even bloom. If we just snapped our fingers and it bloomed, it wouldn't even know how it got there, and it wouldn't work in consciousness. You know, awakening is about consciously going through something, whether we're consciously conscious of that or not. So God is up there saying to so many people in sessions, like, it's not up to me, it's up to you. Because a lot of people have so much anger towards God because of so many reasons, right? And God keeps instilling in people, it is your choice, and I am following every single moment of every single day. You're just unconscious of the choices you've made in the past that are still happening. So this is this radical responsibility again. If something's going on in your life and you don't like it, go within and ask yourself, where have I chosen this? Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, you guys, this is where we're at. There's no big thing to blame in the sky. There really never was. So it is all like distilling, like it's us. There's no savior. Nobody's coming to save us. It's us. It is my choice to stand in my truth and to stand in my spot. And it's your choice to stand in your truth and in your spot. And let's say when we're all standing in our own spots, that's when this world really changes. There's nobody coming to do that for us. And it just can't. And even Jesus has come in certain sessions and said, tried that, been there, didn't work. You can't save people. He's a teacher. He brought teachings. It's still up to those people as well to take those teachings, right? Yeah. There's no savior. I'm telling you. And I feel like I need to say this. Some people need to hear this. Jesus has a soul also, and his soul history is very specific that got him into that experience. And so why that lifetime went down the way it went down is complicated. It's really complicated. And I know, I want to say a lot of you had experiences. You were there in that lifetime. And so you need to know Jesus was a man having a path, just like we are human having our path. It's complicated. That soul had choices. That soul lived out certain things because of what that soul's path was. And so the trauma from that lifetime can be very, 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 very deep for people. And some people, even today will say to themselves, well, if Jesus got hung on the cross after everything he did, what's going to happen to me? Right? And again, this is the mind. It's a concept. And so what that soul went through was very specific for his soul, just like what your soul is going through is very specific for your soul. But it is all up to us now as individuals to choose our truth, live that truth. And if we do not, it's not about life being unkind or kind. It is truth time now. It just is. It's not because you're a good person or a bad person. Again, that's a concept.
Based on your choices.
Based on your choices. And it's crazy because some of the choices that we've made, we are so unconscious of those because they're way back there, but they're still valid because we never chose differently, Yeah. So I think I'll stop talking now.
So Brenda was asking, so you said something about the future, that the future is not seen, and future timeline. So I'm just going to add in really quickly, there's many future timelines, but the future is based on the choices that you make now, right? So we don't know what the future is. It's based on the choices that we make. And so the future is just probabilities, those future timelines, just probabilities based on the choices made.
That's right. Yep. And yeah, it's like there's thousands of threads of possibility. And depending on what we choose presently really matters. Just like, when a person is 1 year old, then they're 2, then they're 3. They didn't just become 3 years old. There's a process that happened to create that future. The other thing is when you psychically see the future or when somebody tells you the future, that's a very specific thing of a thread of a possibility.
Yeah.
So it is like you are literally driving the bus here.
Exactly. So that future possibility somebody's sharing with you is not etched in stone. It's not 100%. It's one possible choice among millions of others. Yeah.
And when I first started my practice like 25 years ago or something, I used to be able to see the future. And this is way before awakening was happening. And so somebody would say, hey, should I do this or that? And I would literally see it like really solid. And awakening changed all that because we're literally arising out of the moment now. The other thing, when I first started doing my readings and I could see the future for people, I was doing that for like 2 years. And then after that, I was like, I don't want to do this. This feels yucky. Like, I don't want to be in that position. I really made a deep choice. I'm like, I don't want to use my gifts for this. Although I can see the future, although I can see what's best for them, this job or that job, it started to feel bad. And I don't want somebody's power like that. I don't want you to give me your power of choice over, right? So I ended that really quickly. And it was funny because I was scared. I just started my practice and I emailed everybody and I'm like, I'm not doing future readings anymore. And like 90% of my clients went away. And the new ones came, but that was a really scary point for me because I could have gone on, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And that's like another
for me, that's
choice.
not empowering. That's not empowering.
Exactly.
The
it's
person.
not empowering at all.
It's disempowering, right? And you're Yeah, I don't like that myself either.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Brenda. And when it comes to, the future as in 2020, right? That is more of like a general in the collective, what is
The
happening.
energetics. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The energetics, not the nitty gritty of what's happening for each person, but the energetics of what's coming up. And then it's about, for you, are you tapping into that? Are you going to be a part of that, or are you not? What are you going to choose for you, right? So are you going to show
Yep.
up and choose in every moment, ask questions in every, maybe not every moment, but, ask questions when stuff is coming up and look at it? Or are you going to continue to be looking for the quick fix, not choosing, not being responsible, And so a lot of times people don't like that word responsible, right? But I like it because it's very empowering for me.
Yeah.
It's my choice, it's my world, it's my reality, it's my future. What am I, where's my energy in this? So I'm not giving away my power to somebody else to tell me what should I do, right?
Yeah, I've seen Amma, you guys know Amma, right? Mm-hmm. The hugging saint from India, they refer to her. She has a saying, keep your hand in your own pocket.
Keep your hand in your own pocket.
Which is not giving your power away. It's like, don't put your hand in somebody else's pocket, right? And when I've seen this like metaphor of when we give our power away, we're literally taking our energy like this ball of light and we give it to someone else like this. Yeah. And we go, tell me what you think of me. Am I okay? Am I? And it's like, why would we do that? But we've been doing that for lifetimes, right? I mean, compassion is important for ourselves, but yes, it's the energetics now that are getting to the point where there's no more room to not choose, because when you're not choosing, that's still a choice. Oh, if I'm choosing well, that's my choice. If I'm choosing yes, that's my choice. If I'm choosing no, I'm always choosing. It's just,
we're always choosing, but what are you choosing? Are you aware of what you're choosing? Most people are not aware, right? Most people are not aware of what they're choosing, and they're just, I mean, let's face it, 24/7, I'm not aware either of what I'm choosing.
Yeah, no way. Yep.
But when it comes to the big stuff, yeah, I'm pretty aware of what I'm choosing.
Yeah, when I first started my practice and I would sit with spirit and they would teach me everything, they told me, they said, you are choosing 24 hours a day. You're either choosing consciously or unconsciously. And I was like, holy shit. How do I become so super conscious that I'm aware of my choices unconsciously? Like, that's crazy. But they're right.
Yeah.
And they've told me, like, so when awakening really first started for me and I was forced to really find the truth, because it's one thing to have my gifts. Like, you would think, oh, that must mean I've had my awakening, right? Nope. Yeah, my gifts are freaking amazing at what I'm able to see and do for people. And I see the spiritual world and your past lives. Like, I literally see this world. It is that crystal clear for me. That's amazing of what I'm able to do. But I did not have my awakening until about 13 years ago. And so that foundationally forced me to really find the truth in my heart and live from there. And at that point, Spirit told me, they said, when you look around your room right now and you see everything that's here, you've already manifested that from your past choices. You've already done this. This is your past consciousness. But they said, if you want to live from this truth, stay focused there, and that too will manifest and create a whole life for you. So since then, I've been like, well, all chips are into the truth, because this took a while. This new life will take a while too. And I really have to own that and stay there and consciously steep and steep and steep and steep and choose and choose and choose and choose. And I just can't tell you how many times my life has been so amazing from there, even though my mind is like, sister, you are so jacked right now. There's no way what you're doing is going to work. Totally worked. And what do I mean by worked? That's really scary, because the mind can create a concept of, well, if I follow my heart, my life will work out all the time. Nope. Not that way. Okay. Now, this is a part of this radical responsibility. And I will use myself as an example. I am so dedicated to following the truth in my heart for 1,000 reasons. Okay. But here's the thing. What comes along with that is I had to be willing to let go of being result oriented, because I don't know what the truth in my heart is ultimately bringing me to. I have an idea, and I hope the idea manifests, but I have to let all that go every single day and be like, okay, heart, because I sit every morning. What is it you want to tell me about my path today, and what do I need to do? If anything, that means, by even asking that question, that means I have to be willing to live in selfless service to the truth. It's not comfortable at times. I'm way more comfortable with it now because it's been 13 years, right? But what I'm foundationally saying to myself is I am 100% willing to give up my needs, my desires, my attachments, my emotional desires for whatever this tells me. Because I'm like this, 100%. Whatever my truth tells me, I am doing 100%. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't like it. It's challenging at times, depending on my level of attachment. But when I talk about following the truth in your heart, I'm not talking about following your personal truth. Mm-hmm. That's a little different. I'm talking about following the truth, capital T, truth, which is not my personal truth. It's not an emotional truth. It's what I'm like saying is whatever is for the highest and best of all concerned, I will do 24 hours a day. I'm just doing it. That is my choice. So that's why it's not comfortable. And being human and being in our ego, we are result-oriented beings. We want a certain outcome. You have to be willing to let all that go and completely surrender to the truth within you and live that truth. That's what I'm about. That's what I talk to people about. And so it's really easy to see for me when somebody is saying, oh, I should leave this relationship. Yep. But you can see they're just doing it emotionally. And I'm like, well, what's your truth say? And the truth goes, don't leave. And they're like, what? Right? Or, oh, I kind of knew that. Or it could be the other way around. Mm-hmm. I really want to stay. But the truth goes, time to go. And the truth for me is always peaceful. It's calm. It's neutral. It's not charged. It's simple. It just presents. It just goes, here it is.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is. And so when I talk about radical responsibility, you have to follow the truth within you and live as the truth. You have to be willing to do what that means, which is let go of your mental idea of who you are. And that's really hard to do. Mm-hmm. Again, some days it's easier, some days it's not. But I'm talking about following a foundational truth within, not what's comfortable and not an emotional truth. So for me, I can trust the truth within, that it will be for the highest and best of all concerned, because it's the truth, not my truth. It's the truth. So beautiful. That's a whole deeper level of what I'm talking about. And we're going to be forced into this anyway. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is. When we talk about awakening, what does that mean? Okay, so right now, if we look at the spectrum of awakening, and here's where we start, okay? We have a veil over our heart, and it goes, me, I'm Ambujam, that's all I am, and I am my thoughts, and I am my emotions. Then when you wake up, the veil goes like this, poof, and this truth of light starts coming out, okay? This light has a life to live, and it will live it, right? We've all had our awakening now, mm-hmm. or we're in the process of it, right? So we know we have it doesn't matter what it thinks anymore. Still feels that way, right? But this now has a life to live. So the more you, the human you, can bridge your awareness here, the easier your life is. I just have to say that. It doesn't mean your life works the way this thinks. It means the life is working the way the truth is working. Mm-hmm. So if you truly want your life to work, and you truly want the health and the wealth that you just feel is in your heart, you've got to bridge your human here, because this knows how to be healthy for you. Because I don't know what your karma is, or your soul history, or your whatever is foundationally rightful for you is here. And it as we awaken more and more, this light gets bigger and 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 bigger, and it takes over everything. And so the 2020 energies is really about this light, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why it has to be this radical responsibility to this light, because it will demolish you. And I mean that lovingly. Everything that we think we are will go. And so the more you can partner with that and go, okay, I'll do it. It doesn't have to work so hard, and it won't meet up so much sandpaper and resistance, you know?
Exactly.
When you can choose this part of you, your human self can choose to go along because you're going along anyway. It's not as rough. And the other thing Spirit wants me to tell you is when you have really deep physical issues and illness and sickness, it's layered. It's not that you deserve it or you don't deserve it. It's not just diet. It's not just. Because this awakening happened, okay, and this light is purifying everything. All this super deep stuff is coming up, which is a lot of what physical pain is. It's just your stuff, just emotion that's not been dealt with foundationally, is how I see it. And so when you have a physical issue, whether it's a physical pain or an illness, I suggest strongly that you take time and bring your awareness to that, sit with that, stay present with that until you really feel ready to ask, okay, what is it you're trying to tell me? What do you want me to know? Because I do not want you guys going to someone else as a healer for them to fix your physical pain. Please don't do that with that motivation, because that's not good. That entangles you. I just have to say that out loud. Don't do that. Okay? Because there are a lot of medical intuitives out there who are awesome at what they do. But if you just go to somebody to have them take your pain away, that motivation will not lead you in the direction that the pain is actually wanting from you, right? And I say this just very fiercely because I want to empower you. I'm here to empower you. I'm not telling you don't go to a healer to help with your pain. I'm saying if you do that, go with your truth that this is here for a reason. What is it? I really want to learn about what it's here to tell me. And, you know, if somebody can take away your physical pain, that's awesome, right? Like, who likes to be in pain? It sucks, or sick. And the very first thing we want to do is go away, right? Like the very first time I feel something, I'm like, ugh, my initial knee-jerk reaction is get rid of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, what is it here? Why? Because it's all part of this purification. And when something's been sitting in the system for so long, it shows up as an illness, and it's just it's an emotion. And it's an emotion, and or it's a choice. But what made you make that choice is an emotion, or it's an idea of your life, or an idea of yourself. So when you work with somebody, make sure that you're coming from an empowered place, not to just have them take it away, but to really come to know thyself. Like, know thyself, heal thyself is very still true today. The more I sit with my heart every day, the more I know about myself, it is so empowering. And I'm able to release things on my own, right? And when I reach out to somebody, which is less now because I've really learned how to work with myself. I used to go to healers all the time when I first started. Just was part of my path. It's what I did, and it's what I needed. But knowing what I know now, I would have asked myself, wait, is it even true for me to reach out right now? I didn't ask then. I just did it, right? Yeah. So I have a whole new awareness now of who is right for me to work with, if somebody, and when and how, right? So Spirit just keeps telling me to tell you guys, if you have a physical pain or an illness, please pull up a chair, and with your vulnerability, because it's very vulnerable to do that, pull up a chair and really ask, what are you here to remind me of that I have forgotten? Why are you here? What is it you're wanting me to awaken in, to realize, to complete, to help myself with? Because it is a reason why your physical pain and your illness is here. It's not random, and it's not a punishment. This is where this radical responsibility comes in. There's something you chose a long time ago, or there's an emotion you have not healed, or emotions or choices. But this energy, it's just energy. and it's a consciousness that's denser than your light. And so that's why it's coming up. So when you work with somebody, make sure you're coming from this place of, like, I might be sick right now and I might not feel well, but I'm still here. I'm here, and work with me from there. It's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow. Powerful. Yeah. That's powerful. And the conversation on truth, we actually had a conversation on that earlier this year. So for those of you who, were not there during that conversation, just go back and look on YouTube or podcast. But that was earlier in the year. We had a wonderful conversation on that as well. So, we have some questions. We have some hands raised.
Alara?
Oh, there you are, Linda.
Hi, I have a question.
One second, where are you?
I'm in the library.
Okay, I got just really off topic, but you want to change your email on your Hotmail, because I received an email from you saying wonderful not so wonderful things, and I knew that wasn't from you, so that's why I wanted to make sure you knew that. Okay.
I did, and that's what I don't know how to do that so that I can get you again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is there a way to do that to you, or send that to you? And
what's
I
that?
put it into my emails now. So
yeah.
And it wasn't me.
I knew it wasn't you, but that's why I was hoping you were going to be on the call so I could just check in for sure, make sure that you were actually okay and that nothing was wrong and blah, blah, blah.
It is, except I've been trying for 3 hours to get this straightened out and I can't straighten it out.
Yeah, start a new email. Create a new one on Gmail. Don't use Hotmail. I don't know why people still use Hotmail, but
I have a new one.
Yeah.
So how do I send it to you so you know what it is?
It's just from your new email address. Just send me a new email from your new email address.
Oh, from my new email address. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Alara at alara.at.
Alara.at.
Yeah. Okay.
Alara@at. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you.
It's okay. No, I'm just glad that, that nothing is seriously wrong and that you're okay.
It's seriously wrong. Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the call.
No, that's okay. No, I wanted you to, because I was saying it earlier in the call. It's like, is Linda here? And when Linda's here, I want Linda to speak up so I can get this off of my mind, because it was,
thank you,
bothering me. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm so glad that she's, okay. All right. So we were gonna take some questions, right?
I'm asking. Well, we might want to do our group process first.
Sure.
But because I feel like what Spirit wants to do is help people release whatever is. I'm going to simplify it. I feel like what they want to do is help people release whatever is unconsciously or consciously choosing not to really take radical responsibility and own who they are. So.
Okay, and I wanted to add really quickly too that this conversation that we're having and that we've been having is not to scare you in any way, but it is right. It is meant to wake you up a little bit.
That's right.
It is meant to get you to take a look at where are you not being conscious, where are you not being aware, getting you to look at what are you choosing, right? Where are you giving away your power? We've all done it. We all do it. So that's there's no judgment there. But it's about now is the time to actually start to be conscious and choose consciously the truth for what the truth, whatever that is, and choosing the light if that is what you want. And if I know it's hard, and it's like some of it seems like concepts, but it is about really choosing for you, right? And what is for you, you're going to know that. You're going to know what's right for you. So choosing for you, not choosing based on circumstance, situation, what's going on, but deep in your heart, deep in your soul, what is your soul wanting for you right now, right? Choose from that. And you can only, and that is not a mental concept. That is not a mental concept. That you can only find when you go into your heart space. Take a few deep breaths, go into your heart space and ask, what is going on here? What am I supposed to be learning here? I know I'm not using, like not supposed to be, but what is this thing, the situation? What is this trying to tell me? What have I forgotten? What am I missing here? Ask questions And without looking for an answer, right? So ask questions, get that energy up, get the energy moving within yourself so that you can start to see things in a different way. Right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's really hard to break the victim feeling inside, because that's the deep one. But when you know that every single thing is happening for you, and I know that's said like 1,000 times, right? But it's actually rising out of somewhere in you.
I mean, and we've all taken action. I'm just going to say really quickly, we've all taken action from fear, right? But it's about asking now, am I coming from fear or am I coming from love? Love of myself. This is all about you, love of myself. Am I coming from fear or am I coming from love, right? We don't always remember to ask the question, but I ask that question nowadays. It's like when I'm choosing something, okay, what's my motivation, like Ambujam was saying? Where am I coming from here? And what have I forgotten? And what is this teaching me? What is this showing me that I've forgotten? Because it's true, we do know, right? And I say that to my own clients, like, when they say, I don't know, it's like, you do know. And if you did know, what would you know? Just tap in, go into your heart space, take a deep breath. First thing that comes to you, what is that, right? Because we do know. Get the mind out of the way, and Sorry, go ahead.
No, and it's huge what you just said, because it brings down the foundational question of, you have to really want to.
Yeah, you have to want to. And so that's it. Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that wanting to, but it's not just wanting to, but wanting to, and then being willing to take the action that's required. You can't just want it and wish it away, right? You can't just want it and wish it and hope for it and, magically it'll happen, because there is no magic wand, right? So yes, it is about wanting, but then being totally committed to yourself that, yes, I want this and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So whatever it takes does mean getting out of my own way, right? And so, Burnett is asking how can I empower myself? How can we empower ourselves to navigate, to 2020 with ease and joy and glory? By going within constantly and asking questions, not from your head, right?
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I'm speaking to, is foundationally wanting to means you take the action, because it's a foundational want to, right? Spirit shows me this metaphor a lot of a man standing. I don't see his face, I just see the back of him, and he's standing on this big rock with this lake and all these trees around him, and there's all this fish in the water, and he's got like 50 fishing poles just laying on the ground with the best lures available and the best fishing poles available, and he's just standing there. He has to want to.
He has to put the thing and put it in the water.
He has to foundationally want to.
Yeah.
Because when you foundationally want to energetically, that is the foundation of everything. That speaks energetically, measures to the universe. Like when I work with somebody and I see them shift from this kind of trepidation, fear, I'm not quite sure what will happen if I do, and then they go, and they like freaking drop in, boom, it's instant. All this energy starts moving to actually bring this person what they want. Like, it is really instant, but we don't physically see the instantaneousness of this.
Right.
So there, I've been asked, like in other shows throughout the years, about tools to do certain things and how do you this and how do you that. And my answer has been always, first, you have to want to. And people don't really like to hear that. They want a tool. And it's like, I can't give you a tool unless you first ask yourself, wait, do I truly want to, and am I really ready to? And if the answer is yes, great, here's a tool, here's the fishing pole. But you have to want to pick it up, right? Foundationally. And it doesn't mean you're not scared, because what we're talking about is so scary, because it
changes everything.
It changes everything.
It changes everything. And are you willing to allow the change? And I know I'm talking to some people specifically, but are you willing to allow the change? Are you willing to allow your whole life to completely change and transform 360 degrees, whatever it takes?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're not, then you're not going to take that next step.
Right. And the only way that you would know that is yourself. So this process Spirit wants to do, I know they're not going to do it right this second, but part part of that, I want to start now by asking you guys, so if there's a certain thing that you're wanting in your life, a situation, whether it's health, wealth, career, family, money, whatever it is, okay, that's one tier of this cake. Or it just could be, wait, am I really ready to take radical responsibility? You have to be super emotionally honest with yourself when you go within and ask, am I really ready? Yes or no? And if you hear, I'm really not ready, that's where you start. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm not really ready. And even that is so healing and amazing, because that's radical responsibility.
And that's an acknowledgement, you know, and
that's
knowing
right.
that I'm not quite ready yet.
Yeah, you can't skip over that.
No.
So when I've been asked to give people tools, why my very first answer is you have to foundationally want to, because what will happen is if you're given a tool to, let's say, of how to tune into yourself, okay? If there's a part of you that doesn't foundationally want to, as you start using that tool, this is going to come up anyway. So I'm asking you to do this first. Mm-hmm. Save yourself a lot of time and effort and money.
And frustration. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So be your own advocate here. So when I ask you have to foundationally want to, the fine print is this: be really honest with yourself about where you're at. Let's say a scale of 1 to 10. A 10 means I am full on, all chips are in. Yes. A 1 is like, oh, hell no, I don't want to. Wherever you are, because it can change on a daily basis depending on just how you're feeling and what's going on. When the part of the radical responsibility is when you are honest and acknowledge that is so healing for you, because it creates so much peace, because now you're no longer lying to yourself and pretending the no is not there. And that in and of itself is a massive embodiment. So, you know, there are thousands of ways of how to be responsible, but one is being very emotionally honest. When I talk about going into the truth in your heart, okay, like the truth, part of that process is emotional honesty. You can't feel the truth if you're not emotionally honest. And I know that might sound like, well, why would you need to be emotionally whatever if you're just after the truth? Well, because our unconscious emotions are blocking the truth. Because if I don't really want to know an answer, but I think I do, I'm not going to know, because I'm that powerful. Yeah. I can protect myself. You know, people who have had abuse, their brain, for whatever reason, will shut down in a certain way, let's say, right? So they don't remember. Why is it doing that? To protect themselves, right? Why don't we know our answers? A part of us may be protecting ourselves, right? I'm not just talking about abuse, but I'm talking about the way that we're able to survive, to protect ourselves. So when you're on this path, part of it is emotional, raw honesty. I do, I don't. Yes, no, but I own that, right?
Yeah. You know, I just got a really big aha right now during this little bit of a conversation. And it is around, you know, are you ready? And asking that question, are you ready? And when I said, are you ready for everything to change? You know, part of me inside said, yeah, but I don't want this to change, and I don't want that to change, and I don't want that to change. So I'm not really ready. But when I said that and I acknowledged it, it's like, oh, that's where I was stopping myself. That's where I was, you know, holding myself back. You know, it's like,
yeah, and that's self-love, right? To acknowledge these parts that don't want to, because they're scared, man. Like we are being asked to be 100% ourselves, and it is the scariest thing that life could ask us, because it is bumping up us against really deep scares and traumas and reasons we don't want to, or part of the past selves don't want to.
But when I got it, now it's like that fear or that attachment, you know, is like, it's gone, you know, so it's like, oh, you know, once I said it in my head, I acknowledged it, you know, it's like, oh my God, you know, now it's, you know, that layer has been lifted, you know, so it's like that. So it's like, and that's, you know, it's a big one for me. It was a big one for me, you know, it's like, oh my God, you know, so it's like, so that was the last, for me, one of the last pieces. And it's like, yeah, you know, I'm ready. So whatever ready means to you, you know, somebody wrote in here, fear equals feeling excited and ready, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you. And it's about being excited, feeling that excitement, saying, yes, I'm ready. And now, no holds barred. Let's go. Right?
Yeah. And
So,
the other thing Spirit's saying is the mind is very tricky, and it'll have 1,000 images of what the unknown and what next year looks like and what your path looks like. It's another part of being really responsible. Don't be satisfied with your images, even if they're good ones, because that's part of this awakening too. It's easy to say, oh, I don't want the yuck and the heavy and but the other side of that coin is the mind has good ideas too, and good images, good images. Those aren't real either.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, right? And then again, foundationally, you have to want to not be satisfied with a lie, especially the good ones, because that's hard to let go of. You know, people have a lot of fantasies about the one and relationship, and there's a fantasy aspect of that can happen, and that's really hard to let go of. It's really hard because you build your whole life for this idea, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the more we're on this path every day, the clearer we become of what's truth and what's not, what's my mind and what's not, what's my emotions and what's my heart, you know. It just, I mean, I'm on the same path as you guys, of course. I have gifts, right? And I'm able to see things and get information and work with it like that. But I have my own core stuff that I'm bumping up against. And, you know, when you said about, I forget how you said it. You said something like when you make a choice, you know, your life can really change like that. For me in my business, the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 months or 8 months, all of a sudden something went boom. And I'm so busy, right? And somebody asked me, what'd you do? And the only thing I did was I said yes to my highest destiny. That's what I did.
Same.
I'm walking around. So I live in Jackson, Wyoming. We have these grand Tetons here, and I highly recommend Googling the Tetons because their energy is like, it's just magnificently strong. And it's a teacher for me of embodying who and what I really am at my strongest, largest self, right? So about 8 months ago or so, I was going for a walk and I'm looking at the Tetons and I was like, I foundationally say yes to my highest destiny. I'd say yes. And I'd say yes to my relationship with my husband. And I say yes to this. Like all these places were in just a little, and I'm like, for me, okay, from my life, my relationship with my husband is my corest fear. That's my shit right there. It's not my work. I'm like, oh, whatever. I have zero, I don't know what to call it. It's not the same thing. So for me, and I'm just being honest with you guys, you know, for me, when I met my husband in New York 11 years ago, I had just had my awakening and I was pretty certain of, oh, nope. So we go out for dinner and I'm like, mm-mm. And I'm like, well, let's just be friends. And I wasn't attracted to him at all. So I think, you know, not attracted. I'm just like, nope. And I had to go away for a couple of weeks to go to a class. And I said, hey, let's just talk on the phone. And if anything develops, great. So I'm like in this place of like, I don't think so. Nope. And I am 1000% certain this is my truth. Okay. So up to this point, I'd been working for 15 years, had my practice, just had my awakening maybe 8 months prior to meeting my husband. I'm sorry, maybe it was about a year. So I was pretty clear of who I was at this point. Okay. So I'm all, nope. So we leave the restaurant and I go to get into a cab to go home. And I'm like, so we'll just talk on the phone. I'll see you later. And I hugged him and my heart went, I'm home. And I was like, what? And it was like, and I went home in the cab and my heart was just, it was so quiet. And my mind is like, no, he's to this, he's to that. So that relationship foundationally began my deeper work in the world of my heart is telling me yes. This is like, oh, hell no. And it wasn't just my mind. I've got my past lives. I've got my soul history of like, I mean, it is freaking deep. Mm-hmm. So 8 months ago or so, I just did this foundational yes to my practice, but my relationship. And it's when I kind of moved through my next levels of no, boom, that's when my business really started happening. So I didn't advertise, I didn't do anything. I said yes to my truth, not my, that means I had to deal with what feels like my truth. And it's not, but it really feels like my truth, and so that's what makes me so good at what I do, because, yes, I have my gifts, but foundationally, I had to find the truth for myself when I was in my deepest, darkest idea of truth. And I tried to relieve the relationship many times, and Amma has brought us back together. Life has brought us back together. Like it's really powerful. And so it's really forced me every day. This is my teacher. My husband is my teacher. Every single day, my heart tells me the truth. And then I have my like cloud of shit that's like,
yeah.
Right? So it makes it so easy for me to see that in others because, I can see it myself, right? Mm-hmm. So my spiritual path is about saying yes to what my heart is telling me, And so for me, I thank God that I've really been working that, because as this energy is really growing in this 2020 stuff, this thing would kick my ass there. I would be miserable because I have been miserable when I've fought the truth. I don't feel well. I feel like shit. I feel heavy. I feel full of fear. I'm second guessing myself. Like I just feel gross, And then when I go into that heart truth, I'm like, I feel bright again. I feel clean. I feel clear. And I'm like, must be the truth, Must be. Yeah. So, a lot of that was my emotional honesty for myself of, I had to be really honest with how I really feel,
And that's the thing. You have to be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter about the rest of the world, but you have to be honest with you. That's the only way that you're going to make any sort of headway or, be able to take any step forward, is by being honest and true to you, right? Yeah. So Practical says, I say yes to letting my light shine and lighting up the world. Awesome. Yes, it is time to say yes. Become yes people. I always say to my friends, I'm a yes girl. Like a couple of years ago, me and my friends, absolutely, I'm a yes girl. I'm saying yes first, and then we'll see if I actually do something. But I'm saying yes, yes to life, yes to living, yes to whatever's coming up. And it's a different way of being when you start saying yes, right? So say yes to your heart. Say yes to that soul within you that just wants to shine, right? Yep. Say yes. And that soul is telling you stop. Listen to that, right? Go ahead.
And sorry, I just wanted to add, because I keep forgetting, when you were saying, we're not here to scare you. Mm-hmm. We're here to empower you. I get this image of these amber, like there's a fire and there are these ambers, and we're blowing on the ambers so the fire in you can get really loud and strong to really be who and what you are. Or if you're scared and there's this deep no, that's your amber, right? So I get to own my no. And that's where my fire is right now, right? So that's this image I see of like this conversation is like gently blowing on the amber, so you can ignite, and your whatever's true for you. Yeah. No, yes, maybe, yeah. So do you want to do questions now, or?
Sure, yeah. Let's do some questions and then we'll do the process. So I'm going to go to... so Brenda, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Or you can unmute yourself, or I'll go ahead and unmute you. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, actually, Mike, I'm the one that asked the question about, in the very beginning, you were saying that it's not written, it's not seen. And that's the part I'm having a struggle with. Like I'm feeling a block, and I don't know why.
Why do you have a struggle with that?
I'm not understanding what you're saying. I'm not getting the meaning from that.
The meaning from that I mean is every single day humanity is creating our future through each individual's choice. And everyone's waiting for what we're actually going to create. So it's not it's not a cookie cutter answer that's just waiting for us. We are actually creating it in every second, each human.
Because when you had said, like, sometimes we'll feel that we lived this before, we lived that before, and right now it's not written. That's when I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. Which, yeah, I agree with. So I just don't know why that was such a block for me. It was just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So you want to ask yourself, what was that for yourself? You know, what was the resistance? What was the reaction? What were you fighting against there?
Well, I'm actually understanding timelines and future timelines. Like I
see.
I understand that concept. Like it's real for me. And so then saying it's not written, I'm like, okay, so what I'm seeing from that, what it's showing me is that we're at a point that we haven't ever been before. So
yeah, that's true.
That's what just came through right now.
Awesome.
So let me ask you, when you said it's not written, what does that statement mean to you?
Okay, well, I know that goes. I know that's from all of our names are written in a book and in the 7 seals and all like that. So I know it's our existence is written. But I understand, and what I'm seeing is that this point on Earth that we're experiencing with Earth, all of us coming in, we're not. We haven't lived this before. In other words, we're coming into a new spiritual awakening, and that has never been this far before.
Yeah. Yeah. So really carving our path as we
right. Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But that yeah.
So
I don't know why I was stumbling over that. I just don't. I don't know why.
Well, I think part of it could have been, Brenda, that, you know, that it's not written, meaning we don't exist, or that, you know, what's happening is not real or true, or something to that effect.
Yeah, it was like a little. It felt like a little negative zing, but yeah, I knew it wasn't. It wasn't meaning that, you know, as it was like a little negative zing, but I could tell it wasn't meant in a negative way. It was just because I wasn't seeing what I was supposed to say. Yep.
Yeah. What's interesting too, Spirit is saying to you, know what you know. Really own what you know, because that's part of what they're saying is part of what's going on for you just in your path is like the last 3 months or 3 weeks or just a little bit here is you're just in the spot of it is like 1,000 gazillion% crucial that you really own your knowing right now, because it's huge for you of what that means, and it's like your medicine, you know. And it's like a culmination, like you just said, we've never been here before. It's like for you it's super similar around when you really own what you know now, that's affecting all these timelines that you're aware of.
Yeah, I feel that. And I actually have just been able to come into my own and you know, admit it and not be bothered with who knows what I know and all like that. You know, that's I've actually just experienced that recently.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Keep going there, man, because that's super powerful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brenda. All right. I'm going to mute Brenda, and we're going to go to Erica. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hello?
Hi, Ambujam.
Hi. There you are.
I highly recommend Ambujam. She's amazing.
I never saw your face.
Oh, you haven't? This is me.
No, it's so good to see you.
You too. Amazing to watch you. Gosh, my heart's been so heavy the last few weeks. My daughter has moved off to college, so I'm sure that's part of it. I'm learning to let go. My brother is not speaking to me, and I'm needing to be okay with that. I may have asked for it because he's hard to be around, but it's so uncomfortable with the family that there's this rift between the two of us.
Mm.
And I sit with my heart and I let myself feel the emotions, and just to know if maybe there's a piece you can add to help me through all this.
Well, it's interesting that we're using the term radical responsibility right now, because I feel for you, it's like this image of like this lightning bolt that you have to be in your certainty of what feels really true for you deeply. Like you're just being taken to your next deeper level. So it's almost like Spirit's not focusing on the situations that are going on. They're more focusing on what life is really asking for you right now, which is this raw, pure, new stability place. And there's the shakiness, for me, looks like a shakiness on top of this place that like you're like, all right, I know. It's like a whole deeper level of really owning, which means you're not giving your power away anymore in this level, right? Because there's thousands of levels of giving our power away that we keep going through, right? But when you really, I feel like the brother part is like an outside piece of, it's triggering your wavering of really owning your truth because of the desire to please him in a very specific way, which is karma with you guys. But that's the outside world kind of triggering it in a different way. Like it's really pushing you to not stay in the shaky of pleasing him so he's okay and then you're okay, right? It's like kind of breaking through that layer and going, what do I foundationally know right now to be true? And you just stay there and you stay there and you stay there and let that bring you kind of through these layers. I'll just simply call them ego, and into your next level of yourself. That's what it looks like when you bring that up.
So just being with the heart, does that eventually get me clarity?
Yep. Yeah, because you have to break through that shaky fear of being that owning your truth that strongly. Like you've already owned it now here, which has become more comfortable now, where here used to be scary. You're at your next level and your brother is triggering this block, let's say, that you feel like you just can't kind of get past and sink into the truth. This block needs to be met with an
Every day at this time, this happens.
like just on a soul level with you two, that's ending. He can't use you anymore to be okay, and that's really hard for you to say, I'm sorry, I can't do this for you anymore. And you might not say that in your mind, but when I look at you guys as souls, you've enabled him for a really long time, and it's getting to this point where he can't use you as a crutch anymore. He's got to go on. It's really powerful. So there's a lot happening, but I would say keep staying with that shaky or that part that you feel like you can't get to the truth. Stay with that and stay with that and stay with that, and you will pop through that. It's just your old place, let's say your old self right there.
So is it something I talk with my other brother about, or do I just act like it's not happening? I don't know what he knows.
That is a perfect question. That's where you would go into your heart and say, okay, truth, is it rightful for me to speak to my other brother about this right now? Yes or no?
I have such a hard time getting clarity, so I just keep asking, right?
Yes, keeps the part that feels like I have a hard time. That's the block. So meet that and stay with that, knowing that this is your old energy that you are to literally walk through. It's like all these little, kind of like, looks like little croissant layers to me, of like layers of fear of being in your power this strongly. and old ways of being to make everybody feel safe and happy and everything's okay emotionally. It's layered. But
Yeah.
I just feel like all you really need to do is just stay present. You'll either go layer by layer, or you'll go a couple layers and you go right through. But it's not something to feel like it's like in your way. It's actually a part that needs to be walked through because it's your old way, your old self. So it needs ceremony and like, yep, I'm scared for all these reasons. This is my old self, and I need to just meet myself here. And then the truth's right on the other side of that. It's just, you're just up against some really deep, scares.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Sitting with that and just sitting with the frustration. It'll move. And you can pray and ask your angels for help, ask whatever you ask for help to help them move you through this. Meaning what they'll probably do when you pray like that is they help your consciousness see things. Like they help the truth be seen, So just you can pray and ask for help to get through this spot that you're in there.
Okay. Well, thank
It's
you.
all good, sister. Seriously, like this is a really powerful point for you. And there's no coincidence that your daughter's away at school. Like, I can't tell you just how life is conspiring to really squish you in there. It's powerful.
Yeah. It's like, now's my time, huh?
Now's your time, and it's a whole new beginning, man. This is the beginning, your new book. Turning. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so good to see your face.
Thank you. You too. Love.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to, so there's a question from Renetta. She's saying, why do I feel fear of standing and talking about what the universe will bring? There's a second part or first part to that, which I missed somewhere. Oh yeah, I want to be honest with me, but what happens with those things that are not so clear? So it's about a little bit about, I'll let you answer.
No, I think you should go.
No.
No, go ahead. And I'll piggyback.
Well, I was just going to say this is about clarity, and part of what you just said for Erica, right, is to really tap into that fear or that block about what is not giving her the clarity or what she's not willing to see, right?
That's right.
Be really honest with that, be really present with that, and just go into that. And then whatever you get, look at it, head on, face it, and love yourself anyways, right? So yep. The other part, and then the fear of standing and talking or about what the universe will bring, that's just somewhere in the past maybe you were killed for what you said, for who you were being, but it's not, it doesn't have to be that way anymore. And part of that is also about that darkness, that shadow, keeping you in that space so that you don't shine more, right? And so and it's a test kind of, it's like, okay, so this fear is coming up again. Are you going to face that fear and take action, or are you going to just back down? And if you keep backing down, then I hate to say the darkness won, but that's how sometimes it feels. It's like and yep. The darkness is not bad in any way either, but it's just
yeah. Exactly. So I was going to say exactly what you said, this murky kind of unclarity thing. Meet that with your awareness. Don't try to get past it. And then the other thing I just want to say for a second is the other part to your question is you can't really get to that answer for yourself and really embody there until you deal with this. Because that's kind of second, I'll simply say. Okay. Mm-hmm. This kind of cloudiness, meet it, because they're for a reason. Okay. First question to ask yourself is this cloudiness or this unclarity 100% mine, yes or no? Yep. And then you deal with that percentage and you stay just with your intuition, with your knower, you know, with the sensing and the feeling of that, then you deal with that. And Spirit's like, this is such a positive thing that this is happening, because you have to move through this, because it's been part of your block for a long, long time. And why it's actually coming up is because you don't need it anymore, because you are to get to stand in your truth and do what the universe, I forget what your question was, but this is on your way. So years ago, and for lifetimes, this is a block, foundationally self-imposed. Okay, but the other energy that's not, you just sat on it, let's say, right? Expanded upon that. Once you actually be with this in an empowering way, like, oh, great, this has actually been a block that I've chosen forever, or for however, how long. Once you just sit with that and really get to know that and whatever will happen there, then you'll be able to move, you know, your checker into your next thing, right? Your game into your, you know, that little thing into the next thing, and be like, okay, now that I moved through that, now how do I really feel about standing in my truth and speaking and doing what the universe, like, that's just your next step. But
Yeah.
really meet this cloudiness as an empowering, like, oh, cool, what is this, I wonder, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly what Alara said is what is step one.
So how does that feel, Renata? I know she can't talk right now, but you can type in. You can type in if you're not crying. She might be crying, but you can type in if you're not crying, okay? And let me know. Let us know how that feels.
I feel
okay?
like let's do one more question, and Spirit's ready to do the group process.
Okay, awesome. So I want to go to Randy. Randy has had his hand raised forever. So Randy, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Where are you, Randy? I can't see you. Talk louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hi,
I
Randy.
am, let me see if I can brighten this up a little. No, there's not much light in here.
That's okay. It's fine.
I love your
It's good.
hair. My beard was
Oh,
almost
thank you.
two-thirds
I'm
of
assuming
that
you're talking
much.
to me. Maybe talking to Ambujam, 'cause I love her hair.
Yeah, both are beautiful. Okay, so I chatted to one question, which was, what if I don't want to compete? You know, because it seems that for me
Say
to
that again.
interact,
What if
Yeah,
what?
I didn't hear
compete.
either, Randy.
What if I don't want to compete?
Compete.
In other words, you know how popular that is. I can't talk to anybody without it being about either the competition to blame or the competition to get a sandwich first. Or it's like anytime I deal with anybody else in society, competition is one of the preoccupations that I find limiting. Get is so limiting compared to what we have to give. So that's one thing. And this other consideration is, if we could, I'm healing my body. I'm regrowing my myelin. It's a long story, FQAD. But regrowing my myelin is what I'm doing. What subconsciously can I work on? What direction you might sense in subconsciously that would assist in that direction?
Dude, you know what's interesting? So part of my package A, is a group power healing that I did called Choose to Live. And I was getting like, I need to offer that. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense to everything else we're talking about, because if you don't foundationally choose to live emotionally, energetically, physically, how do you be in radical responsibility, right? Because that would come up, right? So when you're bringing up, how do you support yourself? That's what comes up. You foundationally have to choose to live.
I was in so much pain for the last couple of years. I finally found my way back to being able to believe I could survive.
Yeah.
Because this nerve pain had me saying, take me or make me whole. I was literally at that level so choosing to live. Yeah, that's my field.
Yeah, it's deep. So where we're wanting you to do it is very deep within. Where within you do you need to choose to live fully? So in meditation, you can go within yourself, and when you feel quiet enough, that you're not in the mind and emotions, really ask inwardly, okay, self, where do I foundationally need to choose to live with gusto, like really strongly, and trust that. That to me helps this physical thing.
It's very clear, evolution and altruism, except that's so misunderstood in the competition that
Okay, now the other thing about the competition thing, let me just go back to the choose to live thing. We couldn't say this to you, this choose to live, if you haven't already done all the work you've already done. So this is just another deeper level of really kind of solidifying everything that you've already done. Okay. And keep doing that. Keep really feeling like where you need to choose to live, and really, really, really keep just feeling that and steeping in that and being like, yes. Okay. The competition thing, ask, where within me is this competition? Because it's in you. That's why it's triggering you so much. And then just feel where that is and what it needs.
It's so much a part of the human condition.
Yeah, but where is it in you, though?
Outside my body more than in, because nature can't even recognize the competition, the blame.
Yeah, but we're asking, where is the energy, the feeling of competition within you?
Gravity.
See how you, so what I just watch you do is go within and then pop right out because you don't want to know. Which I don't blame you, but it's inside of you. The need to compete is inside of you.
I'm competing not to feel pain. I've been competing with that for years to be able to eliminate find my way to peace and serenity.
Yeah, see? Yeah, so that's a good start. Keep being with that. Keep going, because right now it's been used to survive and keep you strong, right? But deeply, really sense, where is competition within me? And feel the energy of it. You might not get a word, or it might not be competition exactly. The label may be different. But when you ask that question, where is competition within me? You'll feel something come up. That's where you have to go. And Spirit's just saying to you, they're giving you like this timeline. They're like, give it 3 months and it will shift. Your outside world will shift because you're changing it on the inside.
It's between my heart and my mind. My heart knows, and my mind believes that my heart knows, but my mind is still in the human race.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, what would happen if you just stopped and trusted and fell in, right?
Yeah, then I get overwhelmed by the competition.
Yeah, it will pull you back out. That's exactly it. Pulls you back out. Because and this is the dance. It's like we start to go in and then, we give our power away back to the thing that pulls us out. And then we go deeper in and then, we give our power away back to the thing that pulls us out. So yeah, this competition thing for you is just one of those things that pulls you out of surrendering into your truth. Yeah. So just be with that. See where it takes you. Because I know you can.
Thank you. Love you.
Aw, I love you too.
Thank you, Randy. Okay.
Yeah, you guys have heard of Ho'oponopono, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the whole belief. Whatever's out there is in here. Mm-hmm. So when you see something in the world that you're just like, radical responsibility goes, okay, where is this in me? It's hard. Where is this in me? And then you be with that, and then you can Ho'oponopono that. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. When I'm dealing with a feeling I don't want to feel, and I'm like, okay, where is that in me? And it starts to come up. I kind of like white knuckle it, and I go, I look at it and I go, thank you for showing up. Now I can love you. I can love you now. I can love you now. And it's like I start to soften. It starts to soften. Mm-hmm. Thank you for showing up. Now I can love you. That's part of my Ho'oponopono statement. I first say that to the thing that shows up. Thank you for showing up. Now I can love you. And then I say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. But I really say it. I don't just say it. No.
Yeah. And sometimes it does take that white knuckling first. Just, to be honest.
Hard.
Yeah, you have to be truly vulnerable to be able to do that. Be willing to look at it without judgment and just with total, I'm going to see it, whatever it is. And then I can, only then can you really move forward. Only then can you truly have freedom. True. Right?
Like some of the shit I've done in my past lives, I'm like, oh my God, it is so hard to look at, but I have to. And in 2012, when I was working with people And they were like, I want to do my purpose, but they were feeling like, but what if I did bad things, and what if I don't want to, and what if I, like, there was a certain kind of fear that was coming up. And what I was seeing is people's dark selves were like, hello. And our dark self is just our deepest pain that we have not healed or looked at. And it has done some gnarly shit out there.
And we've all done it. And that's the
We've
thing
all
that
done it.
We've all, and that's, I've been saying this over and over again for like, I don't know, a long time, but it's like people need to hear that we have been and done everything. Everything. So it's okay. You're still here. You're still here. You're still alive. You're still functioning. You're still breathing. You have been and done everything. So it's okay.
Yep. And after you get through the white knuckling, it's always so healing after. And
it's always better or less traumatic than you think it's going to be when you do the white knuckling. It truly, our mind makes it be huge. But really, when you actually take the intention and I'm going to look at it, I'm going to see it, it's not that bad. Honestly.
Yeah, and God goes, it's just you anyway. Yeah. And then it's like a homecoming every single time. And then you remerge with these parts of you that you've exiled and you've made wrong and you've judged. So he's saying like part of this kind of returning when we have to look at something that we've done. Like for me, when I'm doing a business with somebody or something or a collaboration and something feels kind of weird a little bit, doesn't feel clean, or I don't get a result that I thought was happening, the very first thing is I go to the drawing board. I'm like, all right, what is my deal? What is my karma with this person? What have I done? What do I need to do? Did I take their energy? Do I need to give back their energy? Do they have my energy? And I kind of go down this checklist of like, what is it I need to do to smooth this situation out? And it doesn't mean the result changes, but it means I'm now more whole because I just connected to that part of me that did some things that wasn't so, savory. And it's hard, right?
Just an FYI, we need that checklist. I know someone's asking already. It's like, we need that checklist,
All right, book coming.
We need that checklist. Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's do maybe one more now, and then I feel like we're going to get ready into the process, and then we'll be done.
So you want to do one more question?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to Destin. Destin, go ahead and unmute yourself, or I'll unmute you. Hello? No, you can. Yeah, there you go. Hello.
Hey. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hi.
Gosh. Hey, oh my God, woman. I love you. I love you, Ambujam.
Oh, Destiny. Your face too.
Yes.
Oh,
me.
Hello.
God, you guys, this awakening experience that I've been having has been so dark that I just don't understand where all of this darkness is coming from. There is just no freaking way that it can be me and me alone. I'm wondering if it's like ancestors, contracts, agreements, choices I've made. What the hell did I do to be faced with such, like right now, I'll be honest with you, I am scared. There's so much crazy shit going on. I am scared. That's where I'm standing right now. I'm scared for my life. And I don't understand.
Here's a piece of it. You're a tricky one. I'm just watching your ego just try to like make me not go to where I'm going. It's kind of, can't we just talk about this over there? Isn't that better? I'm like, no, we got to talk about this. I don't even know how to describe this. It's challenging to describe. But here's what I want to say. Yep. So there's some super deep, dark, I don't want to say darkness. I want to say dark pain that's coming out of you. And it's like this image of like, let's say you have these pipelines to your past because of what's happening presently and all this like awakeness that's happening like to you. Okay. Because it looks like life wants a certain outcome for you. It wants you to wake up to a very specific, large degree. Kind of, I don't want to say all of a sudden, but it feels like all of a sudden this has really been like thing. Yep. So what that's doing is it's finding a clog in your pipe. Hardcore. Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Yeah. So it's finding a clog in your pipe, and this clog is really deep pain. And so they want you to approach it more, it's pain, than it is this dark, scary energy. Because they say you'll get lost in the dark, scary energy, and then you'll want to run away, and then you'll feel like, oh God, I can't even do that now. They're like, you'll just get all in your, that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying in your silence, in your presence, they go, take a deep breath, walk towards that pain, knowing some of it's yours, some of it's not. But once you start to get into that, you'll start to not know, but you'll feel, oh yeah, this is mine. That needs to go back to the owners. Like that's not mine. Okay. But they're saying once you kind of approach this pain that for the last 3 weeks or so, you're like, because the mind is creating all kinds of, it's more focused on darkness than the pain. Okay. So that's why you're freaking out. But you have the capacity now to just be present with this pain. You don't have to mentally understand it. I feel like once you be present with it, whatever you need to really feel will start coming out, and it won't take very long. That's what they're saying. Like once you approach this, they're like, life and God want you to approach this. That's why it's up, because it's a clog in your pipeline. And so just approach it as, what deep pain is this for me? And thank you for coming, because now we can be free. And it's super old. That's why that's why they don't want you to focus on the labels, because it's definitely not from Earth at all. It's way past life. And so they're saying, approach the pain approach it as it's pain versus darkness. That will empower you. That will give you information. And then you can feel much more space after that, and then keep going, because life has a trajectory it's got you on right now. It's very strong and very fast. Yep.
Thank
How does
you,
that
dear.
feel?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I started going there. I could already feel when you mentioned pain. I already started going down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, ooh, yeah. So it shouldn't take too long.
That's right.
Thank you.
Good.
Girl.
Really good.
You
breathe,
rock.
breathe. Awesome.
All right. I feel like we're ready to do our process now, whatever that is.
Yep. Awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it.
How do I even describe? Okay, so I feel like I want to say this before I forget. So tomorrow, 10:10, which is interesting. Spirit's always like, of course. So tomorrow, I'm doing group power healing on the 2020 energies to help prepare the system to receive that. Lots of healing. And there's this other aspect to it that Spirit showed me, that within our high heart, I'll call it, because I don't really have another word, there are these spiritual quadrants of the high heart, and the spiritual energy that we already are is starting to ignite and activate now through like next March, April-ish. Spirit wants to open that now for you guys, because they always see what is the quickest thing we can do to help them on all their levels. Mm-hmm. So tomorrow night, we'll be helping you integrate and receive the 2020 energies in the way you need to, and opening this spiritual energy in the heart, and doing whatever healing wants to come through. And I want to say this now because my packages include either 1 or 2 group power healings. So if you guys want to buy the package today to get on that call tomorrow, make sure you get those packages in to Alara by 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, so I can then send you the instructions of how to redeem that. So we'll be doing that tomorrow at 7 p.m., the group, and it's on my site as well. But I want to say that right now, because what Spirit's about to do is connected to what we'll be doing tomorrow. Because what I feel like they want to actually do as our group process is, each of you are very ready to move through this threshold in the way that you are as an individual. So I feel like what we're going to do now as a group is Spirit's going to move everybody forward, which will change how you feel, because you're still in this reality right now. That's going to change in like a couple of minutes. They're going to move you into where you're ready to embody these energies. Okay. So I'm just seeing if there's anything else we're going to do before that. Yep. So what I said earlier that I felt like they were going to do in this process is to help you clear whatever is an unconscious no or avoidance, and we're not talking about just being emotionally honest with yourself as a no, because that's clean and pure, right? We're talking about whatever's you're unconsciously blocking yourself of really owning and being this radical responsibility of like, I know, and I'm going to practice being in my knowing, and yes, 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 I know. When they move you through this threshold, that's going to take care of that as well. We're just going to do one big kind of movement. And so
Awesome.
Once we do this, I'll just let you know what I'm seeing as we do it, of what's coming out. I don't know what I'll let you know, but I'll just tell you what I'm seeing as we do it. So they're already preparing your system now to move through. And again, what they're moving you through is this 2020 threshold. They're going to move you through now because you're ready. And so all you have to do right now is just be within yourself. That's it. Because as we were having this call today, a lot happened. To say it simply, a lot moved. And so that's making you ready. And you were already, before we even did that, you even being on this call or replay, same thing, really. You were already ready for this shift. But being on the call and listening and just having all of this shift as we're talking about everything is just making it that much easier for this shift to happen. So, all right. So there's nothing you have to do but just be, okay, within yourself. And are you ready? So each of you as individuals will move through the way that you need to and that you're ready for, okay? Spirit's going to do it now. Spirit's being funny. They're like, don't worry, there's still cold cuts and sandwiches on the other side too. You won't miss anything. So what's happening now is you guys are all moving forward and through the threshold of 2020. And I'm staying behind because I'm doing ceremony with your past and your past selves and just doing all this completion. And then what's going to happen in a couple minutes or seconds is the door is going to shut where you just moved through. So it's going to shut behind you so you don't go back. You just can't. All right, so we're going to shut the door, okay? All right, so we're just going to do a lot of integration right now because you're in your new spot now. So I'm going to hum, okay, because it's just coming out. Some tones have to happen. Spirit saying you are here with yourself first and foremost in the new place. You are contributing to the awakening of this world, of this planet, and many other worlds just by following your own heart and your own truth. And that is so. So Archangel Michael's coming in and he's doing some stuff to help you anchor, step with your heart. And Archangel Michael is saying to you, the only person that you ever need to be loyal to is your own truth in the heart. That's it. That's real loyalty. So your astrology showing up now all of a sudden, okay? And your astrology is going to shift now, meaning how do I even describe this? There's been a lot of pressure to have you move forward in your astrology. It's been really part of what's been moving you forward. And so now, because of what you just did, where you are right now, again, even though spirit did the movement for you, your deep self collaborated with them to do that. They can't ever really do anything like to you or for you without you collaborating. Or just may not be consciously collaborating or consciously, okay? Because of where you are now, what you just did to move through this threshold and all these parts of you, what they just did, your astrology doesn't have to push so hard now for you. So it's shifting a bit. So it doesn't have to feel so much pressure, because you just did what your astrology was wanting you to do. And you're not done, you know, this is just the beginning, but I'm just watching your astrology shift. It's kind of pressure. And your mantra can be something like, I choose to really know who I am. I choose to really know who I am. I choose to really know who I am. And you can just use that daily. You can use that as a meditation. Who am I? Who am I? What am I? Yep. So, because you're in your new place now, Spirit's having me like proxy for you to complete some really old agreements, like stuff we talked about earlier. There's some soul contracts, simply put, that are completing now. Some are just transforming into whatever you need, but we're just doing a lot of completion up there now. So I need your permission to proxy for you here. Yeah. So one of the things I'm seeing around what really wants to release and is releasing is codependency. I don't have another word besides that. So because because Spirit is giving you a head start, let's say, on moving you forward into this threshold with 2020, because 2020 hasn't happened yet, right? We're still in 2019, but energetically it's begun. As the months keep going, codependency will be a no-go. Like you just won't be able to take care of somebody emotionally anymore. It'll be much harder as that keeps completing, you know? Because truly, when we're in our truth and our true selves, we're in our wholeness, right? And we're in our sovereignty. And there's no way I would want you to take care of me from that place. Why would I? And vice versa. And so when we're in our truth, that's where we're going, right? So there's this, I don't know what to call it other than these agreements and soul contracts around just no more codependency. You know, it's ending. To be in your sovereignty. All right, so we're going to do one more thing, and there's just a lot of integrating going on now and anchoring you into your new place. So you guys are to my right, let's say in this whole new room, okay? And there's a door shut. I'm outside this door and I'm in your past, and all of these relationships are showing up now, and I'm going to, the simplest way I can describe it is catch these relationships up to what just happened. So we're going to do a lot of healing with dynamics and stuff like that. And these people are showing up because they want to. Some of them are like, tell them we're sorry. And I'm just like, they know. And it goes both ways. Like, we've all done stuff to each other, you know, from fear and not good enough and separation, you know. It's time to heal all that now. Okay. All right. So all of your teams now in Spirit, they're going to be working with you in this new place to help really anchor and integrate you. And I'm completing with you now, collaborating in that way, because I don't need to facilitate that anymore. And I just want to say thank you for being my teacher, for showing up as you, exactly as you are. Okay, Spirit's pulling me out of your space now. Whew. So that's a lot. A lot. There's just a lot going on. So if you feel like, you know, deep, tired, just a little out of it, there's just your whole system is shifting into this new 2020 energy. So there's just a lot that's going to be going on, and there's nothing you have to do. This is all going to be happening for you at this point. The only thing I would suggest is to just sit with yourself and bring your awareness within, so you can become aware of what's going on in there and watch or feel or sense. You know, I feel like God's saying to you, there's no big present in the sky that's waiting for you. You're it. And when you choose, it will come to you. Like, you are it. Just keep choosing and keep being honest with yourself. You're it. You're the one. Whew. Dang, man. That was a lot, even though it was short. That was a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that energetically, well, of course, energetically, I don't have to say that word. That is going to help our group tomorrow do what we need to do. Because even though we just did it with us here, and, you know, again, those of you who are going to listen later, it affected the energy on this planet now. So that's just going to help what we're going to do tomorrow together. And it's going to help the intensity that we've been feeling over the last few days or so. That might lessen a little because you guys just moved through that threshold. And so there's, again, less pressure is necessary now because you just did what you did as a huge group. And so that's just helping everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was intense. That was powerful. So much, you know, and even like we're still integrating, right? We're still processing. Yep. Yeah, that was a lot. It was like so fast and intense. It's like just took it. As soon as you started, as soon as you said, okay, let's do the process, I started yawning, you know, it's like the energy just started shifting and changing right away. That's how fast it was. And yep. Still going on. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the call now, this call we're on is starting to like wind down now and complete. And because that was a lot.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Lisa's doing good. Brenda, Maria, tours of release. Sandra, precious info. Yeah, definitely listen to the replay again because there's so much, right?
So much information. Yeah.
So much information, but not just information, but also like even when we were talking, there was a lot of intense energies throughout the conversation too, right? So it was lots of shifts. Good, deep stuff. So intense. Yeah. Strong rush came through my body and up my feet. Oh, awesome. That's cool. So did you want to talk quickly about the special offer?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I figured you should talk a little bit about it, right?
We forgot, yeah.
Well, it was just such a intense conversation, you know, that the segue never came up to like
Yeah.
So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. Special offer button. For those of you who are on the phone or listening after, you can go to alara.at/show/Ambujam10. So again, there's 3 packages, package A, B, and C, $57, $147, and $197. We talked really briefly about the Choose to Live. That's a 9-minute pre-recorded group power healing, right? Yep. That's package A's. We talked about that with Randy a little bit, right, Ambujam?
Yep.
And then package B is that, as well as the How to Trust Yourself MP3 and a live 90-minute group power healing. So do you want to talk about that? The How to Trust Yourself and what a group power healing is? I mean, we did a little bit here, but and it was just more.
So my work is all about group power healing. And what that means is when we meet as a group, the whole premise is to embody who and what you really are as fast as possible. So when we meet as a group, the whole group is taken into a very holy, sacred energy, and it's like a spiritual quickening. And we all collaborate together to release core, foundational energetics and choices of your correlating past life stuff that's affecting your awakening today. And so I never know what that will be until we actually get into the group of what the group brings, because you guys literally bring everything that we do. Each group has a different topic, and like the Choose to Live was a topic to help people reconcile where they have chosen to die emotionally, where they have chosen to shut down emotionally. And so when we come together as a group, it was the group energy that brought all of that information. And you are all literally bringing the entire session to me. I don't choose to do what we do. You guys bring it. And the whole premise of group power healing is to meet you on your path of awakening, to continue clearing the layers and the layers and the layers of the ego and the emotions and the ideas and the why I call it a group power healing. It's the power of the group, and it's where the power actually comes from is your deep desire to be who and what you are and to be free. And Spirit knows your deepest prayers and your deepest intentions, and they meet you there. It's a very sacred, fast experience. Every single group, everybody says, it sounds like you're talking to me. It sounds like you're talking to me. And I'm just like amazed because we're working as a group, right? How is that even possible? But it is. So my packages B and C include one group power healing and 2 group power healings. And how that works is you have 6 months to use those. And once you buy the package, I'll email you the instructions of how to join each group. And basically you get an email for each group and you just join the one that feels right for you. They're all recorded. We meet over conference call like this, not video yet anyway. And so, the next one will be tomorrow to help you embody the 2020 energies and really awaken this high heart energy, the high heart spiritual energy that you are. And then the MP3s that I've added in B, God, it's so hard to talk right now. My brain is like, blah. B, How to Trust Yourself. That is a guided meditation to help you realize you are trust itself. Trust is not really something that you do, it's what you are. And so that the MP3 is a teaching about reminding you that you are trust itself. And then there's a guided meditation to help you get into trust, feel your trust, know the difference between the fears that can arise, that's not trust. Like you don't want to use your fear to trust, right? So the whole premise of that is to really help you know that you are trust itself. Then the other MP3s that I added to that one in package C is also the self, I call it self-inquiry and discernment series. And I just want to say why I've added all these things together is because they all work to help you really know who and what you are and to discern the difference between what your truth is and what it isn't. So the Choose to Live is all part of that, because if you have chosen to shut down unconsciously, it's really hard to choose to live presently and to be in that fire, right, that Alara and I are talking about. So that's why I chose that. The mind, emotions, heart, to know the truth of every single situation in your life. That whole MP3 series is to teach you the difference for yourself, the difference of your mind, the difference of your emotions, and the difference of the truth in your heart. So how that works is Spirit has you bring a question to yourself about your life, and they have you take that question into the mind, into the emotions, and into the heart, so you can really feel the truth to the answer versus your mind's answer and your heart's answer. At the end of all of those MP3s, Spirit does a quick healing, a clearing, and awakening to the mind, awakening, clearing to the emotions, and awakening and clearing to the heart. All, again, to foundationally support you knowing the truth for yourself. And in the last MP3, they do this huge just releasing and anchoring and bringing in the energies of self-discernment so you can know the truth for yourself. So those are all, I think that's everything in there, the packages. Yeah. And I just highly recommend the group power healing. Another reason why Spirit has created them is because so many people started waking up. They needed a very fast way to heal from an awakened energy. So it's different when, because even though we're doing healing, we're working through the truth of who you are, which is an awakened consciousness. When we're doing group power healing, we're not just doing healing, we're actually working with your awakening, and every single group power healing awakens you to yourself that much deeper. When you are aligned with your truth, that is your foundational healer. So an example of that is somebody said that I didn't know because we didn't focus on it. They said they had a sinus issue for 10 years and in one group power healing, it went away. And I'm like, wait, what? We didn't focus on sinuses. Right. I mean, A, that's amazing. But B, I feel like why these things happen. I mean, I hear so many stories of what's changed in people's lives from a group power healing. And my foundational answer to that is because everything we're doing is aligning you with your truth deeper and deeper and deeper. And when you are aligned in yourself, that is your foundational healer. And then it's that truth is able to heal all of these things that we don't even focus on in the group. And what it looks like for me psychically is when we get together, my thumb's stuck in my hearing. When we get together as a group, the group becomes like, I just see this image of this one huge being. And it's this one being that's telling me what's going on in the past and what their relationship is with God and what their relationship is with themselves. And as we start going to the themes that this one being is bringing me, when for me psychically, it's always to my left is the past, okay? As we're up there working on these themes and I'm letting you guys know what's going on, as we're focusing on these themes, it vibrates into your personal issues here. And so even though we're working as a group, that's why people are saying, I feel like I'm talking to them because the energy is literally vibrating into their own private, personal stuff. The whole thing is just magic. And again, Spirit created that about 15 years ago because we needed a different way to heal because so many people are waking up. So it's an affordable way. The individual can come and get some really, really, really fast and powerful healing. So I really highly recommend you guys trying a group if you have not. Yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful. So those 3 special offers are available at alara.at/show/Ambujam10. And just a reminder that Ambujam is having a group power healing session tomorrow. So if you would like to get package B or C, try and get it sooner rather than later so that I can send her your info so she can send you how to attend the group power
let's
healing.
say by 1 p Eastern, because that'll give me enough time to get you guys the info. And if you're at work, it'll give enough time to get the info back.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and give you the info for the group. So yeah.
Awesome. So for today, we did a lot. We talked about a lot. There's a lot shifted and changed during this conversation. So definitely drink lots of water. Listen to your body. What does your body require? Maybe you want to rest. Maybe you want to take a nap. Maybe you want to go out in nature, walk around, get some fresh air. Whatever works for you. But ask your body. Body, what do you need now, right? And start talking to yourself. Start asking yourself questions. And again, this replay will be up shortly, but I wouldn't listen to it again today, Give yourself some time, but definitely listen to it again because there was so much. We talked about so much. And I keep wanting to add, Ambujam, you were talking about radical responsibility, but I kept getting all the time, Spirit kept telling me, fierce radical responsibility.
Fierce, yep.
Yeah, it's being fierce,
yeah,
right?
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah, so thank you, Ambujam. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
I'm just asking Spirit if they have anything else they want to say to you guys. And they're saying, it's actually a celebration what's going on, even though we're talking in a very fierce way and we're being very precise. I don't have enough. It's just blunt. Like, do it. No?
Yeah, we're being blunt, you know.
Blunt, yeah. They're saying this is actually a celebration of what's going on, the energies that we're actually able to even get into now. And they want you to approach this again from an empowering way, even though it's a scary thing to take this deep responsibility for ourselves. But they're saying you are literally coming home to yourself. Mm-hmm. It's happening now, energetically out in the world. Like, it's happening energetically now. And so we've been doing it on our own on this path, right? And the energies are there to help us, but it's really kicked in. So they're saying, know that this is a homecoming that's happening here in this body. And the deeper that you can be honest with yourself and step into your own sovereignty and to say yes and to practice over and over and over, because we keep bumping up against codependency and the need to save others and the need to make people comfortable. Like, it's just what it is, right? That foundational yes, it is a celebration, and they're just letting you know that you have everything it takes to walk this path, because you do, and you're here. And they're saying, don't forget to ask for help. Pray.
Yeah, and you can ask for help from your guides, your team, source, creator, you know, your higher self. Ask for help. Ask and you shall receive. I say that all the time, but you have to ask. It is so true. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ambujam. This was so much fun, so powerful. Yeah, loved it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having this conversation with me. I knew it, like, you know, when I knew I was doing the show, I wanted to send you the topic and what we'd be doing, and I'm like, oh, I can't send it yet. And then yesterday, or whenever I sent it the day before, it's like, now that we've moved into this 2020 thing, it's like, this is what we need to talk about. And I just knew, like, you were the chick. Like, I knew we could talk about it. I just knew that we could collaborate here, and I was just super looking forward to it.
And here, and I was asking Amanda, anything from Ambujam yet? No, not yet. Amanda, anything from Ambujam yet? No, not yet. All right, I'll check.
So I can't thank you enough for you and being who you are and showing up and just everything, the whole, all of you. And it's a huge honor to be here. And I just want to thank you guys all for being here and writing in. And it's so good to see your faces. And I love you guys so much. And thank you for being on this journey with me, seriously, because we can't do it alone.
We can't. And so everything she just said, ditto. And Neo saying, yeah. And thank you so much, everyone. This was wonderful. So powerful. I had some ahas. You all had some ahas. And during that whole group power process, I mean, the energy was just going so through us so deeply. Neo, it's okay, baby. Daddy's coming back. It was like so powerful and intense. So please be kind to yourself. Please be gentle with yourself. Neo. Please be gentle with yourself. Okay, I need to finish up. All right, so until next time, may you continue to
thank you, lady,
with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, radiant health. Much love and blessings, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.